This Zoom session is being brought to you by the Fractal Eternity. All right, for today, we're going to be talking about lines and slopes and equations of lines. The slope of a line is a measure of how steep the line is. Take a line and compare a horizontal distance to a vertical distance. The horizontal distance is called the run, the vertical distance is called the rise. The ratio between the two is always a constant for a given line. And so that ratio, a rise over run, is called the slope. Okay, I have 2 points x1 by y1 and x2 by y2. The rise is a difference in the y values, y2 minus y1. The run is a difference in the x values, x2 minus x1. And this is denoted delta y and delta x, where delta is a capital letter D in Greek for difference. So the slope, which I call S, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now you could also write it in opposite direction, y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. If you multiply above and below of this fraction by -1, that'll flip the order of the subtraction. Basically, going from here to here is the same slope as going from here to here. Now, by the way, for some strange reason I've never been able to figure out, the book tends to use the letter M for slope. And why M for slope is a complete mystery to me. I use S, whatever. All right. If a slope is positive, then it goes from lower left to upper right. If a slope is 0, then it's horizontal, flat, constant. If a slope is negative, it goes from upper left to lower right. And if the slope is infinity, then it's a vertical line. Just a second. I believe I'm being pestered by a cat. The result is something I call the slope wheel. We draw all the slopes of these lines through a point. This horizontal line is slope 0. This vertical line is slope infinity. This diagonal line is slope 1. Here's a shallower one that's slope 1/2. Here's a steep one that's slope 2. Upper left to lower right. Here's a slope of -2. Here's a slope of -1. Here's a slope of -1/2. Okay. Now slopes are if two lines have the same slope. If two lines are parallel, then those slopes are equal. If two lines are perpendicular with slope S1 and slope S2, then, well, there's several ways to put it. One is that their product of their slopes is -1. Also that slope 2 is -1 over S1. Slope 1 is -1 over S2. So these are negative reciprocals of each other. Now, I think that's worth proving. So let me at least give you a demonstration. Here we have two lines of the origin, and it doesn't matter where they go through as long as they're parallel. So you have a line here through the origin with slope S1. We go over distance 1 to 1, 0. You go up S1, so this point is at 1 by S1. If we turn this all 90 degrees, then 1 by 0 gets turned to 0 by 1. This S1 is to the left, minus S1. So this point here is at minus S1 by 1. Now, between minus S1 by 1 and 0 by 0, that's slope 2. And it's going to be the change in the y values, 1 minus 0, or the change in the s values, minus S1 minus 0, like this, which comes up to -1 over S1. So therefore, their product is -1, and S1 is the negative reciprocal of S2. So that's the reason for this relation. Now, we have some examples. You have a line going through -1 by -7 and through 4 by 0. What's the slope? Well, all right, fine. Y2 minus y1, 0 minus -7, over x2 minus x1, 4 minus -1. That comes out to 7/5. Excuse me, this cat is being too annoying. Pardon for the interruption, but this is my cat tax. Okay, cat. There you go. Get out of here. I didn't want to have his butt in the screen. Anyhow, here's a point -1 by -2 and 0 by -5. What's the slope? Well, y values are -5 and -2, -5 minus -2. X values are 0 and -1. 0 minus -1. After some arithmetic, that comes out to -3. Okay, slope of line through 28 by 50 and 7 by 17. Okay, 50 minus 17 over 28 minus 7. That comes out to 33 over 21, which reduces to 11/7. Now here we have slope through 7 by 5 and -9 by 5. Well, the change of the y values is nothing. 5 minus 5 is 0. So the denominator is 7 minus -9, which is 16. 0 over 16, that's 0. It's a slope of 0, which is it means it's a horizontal line, which makes sense given these are the same y values. So it's just floating along with the same constant. Here we have -7 by -5 and -7 by -2. Well, changing the y values are -5 minus -2 here. Changing the x values are -7 minus -7. Uh-oh. In the numerator, you get -3. -7 minus itself is 0. We have -3 over 0. That's infinity. All right. So here we had 0 in the numerator, horizontal line. You have 0 in the denominator, infinity. That's a vertical line. Again, it makes sense because these are the same x values. These are two different y values. So vertical line. Now here I'm going to pull this, stretch this a little bit. Find the slope through the same point. -7 by -5 and the same point -7 by -5. Well then, maybe the numerator you have -5 minus -5 here. And the denominator, -7 minus -7 here. That's 0 divided by 0. And 0 over 0 is the indefinite ratio. It could be anything, which makes sense because you could draw any line with any slope through if it's the same point twice. So 0 slope, horizontal line, infinite slope, vertical line, indefinite slope, well, it could be anything because it's pivoting through the same point twice. There we have 1/4 by 9/2 and -3/4 by 0. What's the slope? All right. 9/2 minus 0 in the numerator, 1/4 minus -3/4 in the denominator. It's 9/2 over 1 is 9/2. Okay, here we have two lines. One passes through -3 by -2 and 4 by 5. The other passes through -1 by 0 and 6 by 7. Are these lines parallel? Are they perpendicular? Are they neither? Okay, for this line here, the slope is -2 minus 5 over -3 minus 4, which comes out to -7 over -7, which is 1. The other line, the delta y is 0 minus 7 in the numerator. Delta x is -1 minus 6 in the denominator. -7 over -7 is 1. Both have slope 1, which are equal, therefore they are parallel. Here we have a line through -2 by -2 and -5 by 4. Here's another line through -6 by 2 and -2 by 4. Parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Well, here we go. In the numerator, change in y is -2 minus 4. Change in x is -2 minus -5, like that. Which is -6 over 3 is -2. The second one, change in y is 2 minus 4 here. Change in x is -6 minus -2 here. So this is -2 over -4, which is 1/2. Now here we have slopes of -2 and 1/2. These are negative reciprocals. If you multiply them, you get -1. Therefore, this line and this line are perpendicular to each other. Now, apparently, if you go driving around on the interstate, haven't done that in a while, but there are signs which talk about a grade. Well, a grade is basically a slope. A 10% grade is a slope of 0.10, that sort of thing. Now, what grade has this road? It's 2.5-mile run and 528 feet rise. Okay, well, a mile is 5,280 feet, so 2.5 miles times 5,280 feet per mile comes out to 13,200. So therefore, rise over run is 528 feet over 13,200 feet, which comes up to 0.04. Therefore, a grade of 4%. All right.